What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in today's walkthrough review, we'll be taking a look at the new Taylor Davis violin by Cinesamples. They got the famous video game violinist herself, Taylor Davis, to come on board and actually record her playing at the Hollywood Scoring Stage in Los Angeles. And it's a really cool library. It's part of their artist series, which contains artists like Randy Kerber, I believe, and his prepared piano, which is really cool. And you can see it's contact player friendly, so it'll load right into your libraries section, and so you can find it pretty easily. You can see here that the patch list is quite compact. It's not overloaded with a ton of patches, and so that makes it super simple when you just want to load in the library. All you need to load in is the articulations patch because it already contains all of the recorded articulations in the whole library, switchable via these keys here, these key switches. So all you really need to do is, load in the articulations patch, and by default, it comes up with the legato. So let's have a playthrough just a little bit, and then I'll give you kind of my impressions and what I think about it. So here's just a little bit with the mod wheel. All right, so a very intuitive interface, a lot of things to like here. So you have your reverb control, and you can actually turn it off and it will sound very, very dry. So here's what it sounds like without any reverb. Right, so you don't really get any tail there, which is nice when you want to add your own reverb, and by default it loads up with the concert hall reverb. You can see there's a bunch of presets here, but let's take a look at the Taylor Davis reverb. Let's see what that sounds like. So quite washy, you know, there's a nice tail there. Let's take a look at maybe the Berliner Hall. So a nice selection there. You don't really have to fiddle too much with reverb settings, and actually with a library like this, it's very plug and play. So it's not for the tweaker. It's mainly for you to just load in and just, you know, it's meant to be very playable. Another thing here is you'll see, and by the way, this is I guess the amount of reverb that you can dial in. So the legato speed is automatic. So if you play faster, the percentage will go up, and as a result, it will shorten the legato transitions to make it seem like, you know, you're playing fast runs. So that sounds quite convincing, and it's done automatically. So if you turn off the auto, it won't do it automatically. So just something to note there. And then you also see portamento on high velocity. I really like this feature, and it's kind of like this in other libraries as well. I believe Berlin Strings has this feature. So, you know, when you play another note very hard, you'll get that stressed slide in between two notes. And the thing is, this only applies for notes going upwards. So if you try this on the way down, for example, A down to D, so you don't really get that slide, you know, you just get a regular do do, and then the D is just bowed. So just a note there. The slides are recorded on the way up. So if I do it on the way down, you don't really get that. You know what I mean? Another thing is that well, Mike Petty already went over this, the infinite bow. So basically, as you play a note, with this on, you will actually won't hear Taylor Davis switch bow direction. So this note just carries on forever, right? And I personally like this feature, especially when I'm playing or when I'm doing mock-ups where I want that string sound to just carry on for a few bars before it tails off. I really want that to carry on without any change in bow direction, you know? So that I think that's pretty important. Now, a lot of people were kind of unsure and a little bit apprehensive about the lack of vibrato control, and I'm kind of I'm in the bandwagon where I believe that you don't necessarily need the vibrato control unless you're trying to tweak and you really want to dial in the exact performance that you're going for. In my case, I do like the fact that they recorded her natural vibrato without giving us any extra knobs of having to tweak that kind of stuff, because it can start to sound synthetic, and that's the kind of the last thing we want to tweak with vibrato settings on our own, and have it potentially sound very strange, So having this baked in vibrato is nice, and the fact that it's basically one vibrato style puts this library in kind of a niche section, So it's kind of folky, it's kind of country-ish type of it's that kind of sound. And that's its intended purpose, right? So if you're going for a more classical type of style, you might not end up going with this library because it's not really meant to do that kind of thing. It's more of a cinematic, folky type of sound. So in that type of way, that this library is perfect for that kind of thing. Also, one more thing to note, it sounds like all of the legato transitions in general are done on like bow changes, except for the portamentos where they're more slides. But I would have loved if they did more or any slurred legato transitions. So where you change a note in the same bow, basically. It sounds like they're each of the legato transitions, like for example, I'm going to play an A to an E. So that one might be a slurred legato, but if we try to play a little faster. You see, each of these notes that I'm playing, I'm just going down like a kind of a scale here. It sounds like each of those notes has a change in bow direction. So that's what kind of makes it a little bit choppy, and you don't get the exact, flowing line that I'm going for. So I'm hearing in my head, da, 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 without any change in bow direction for that one. Unfortunately, in this one, in this library, you can't really alter that. So if I wanted to play a melodic line like Scene d'Amour, for example, like, so you see that there's a lot of bow change legato transitions, and that's what will make it a little bit less realistic, because it's not completely slurred, a lot of those transitions. So that's kind of the main thing about the legato I would love to see addressed in an update. I think that would require more samples, but as it is, it's very good for back and forth playing, like those kinds of musical styles. For more lyrical playing, this might not be your go-to library, just as a side note there. Let's go through some of these more other articulations. So sustains, basically just polyphonic, so you can play them more than one note at once. And you can see that the vibrato speed is quite consistent, so it does sound like a few players really syncing up together with the vibrato speed. So quite cool there. Some short notes. Okay, that's pretty cool. This is velocity sensitive, as most libraries are and should be. So the quieter you play, it's quite soft. And if it's louder, very sharp attack there. Marcato. So this is again velocity sensitive. So it's like a big tug on the bow, which is really cool. Let's hear that one without reverb. Nice. Open strings. No vibrato on there, you'll note. And then finally, some tenuto. See, there seems to be a couple of takes there. One with a little bit of vibrato, and then one without vibrato. This one seems to have all vibrato. Maybe it's just one take. I'm not completely sure of all the details, but what I do know is that this library is basically made for a quicker style of playing. You know, playable runs and stuff are pretty crucial in a string library, and they do this very well. The legato speed automatic thing is very, very cool. I think they introduced this in Cinestring Solo, and they've updated it in their other libraries since. So it's a very cool feature. But again, my main gripe with it is just I would love some slurred transitions as well to make those long legato lines possible, you know? I completely understand that it might not be the intention of this library, so if it doesn't happen, if that update doesn't really happen, then so be it. Really, that's only my only gripe with this library. Other than that, the sound quality is fantastic, in my opinion. I think it sounds great. It doesn't have that Sony stage sound because they did not record this at the Sony stage. They recorded this at their own Hollywood scoring stage, which gives us the ability to have a really dry sound, which is great and when we want to add our own reverb. So another plus there. And yeah, it sounds great. You know, Tim Starnes, he's a really big guy at Cinesamples as well. He mixed this sound. We also have the alternative mix, which is more of the raw sound, I think. So let's go back to legato. Yeah, Tim's mix seems a little bit less harsh. It seems like a little more high frequencies taken out. It's a little more balanced in kind of the lower range. So it's a really, really nice, well-rounded sound, in my opinion. I really like that out of the box. And same with the Tina Guo libraries. They really enabled her to get a sound that's very, very lush, very warm. There's no excess of frequencies in certain spots, so I think that's really well done. And yeah, that's pretty much the Taylor Davis violin. If you have any questions, please let me know. The library is quite small in size and it's relatively affordable as well, $100 for this library. So definitely pick it up and let me know what you think. So thank you so much for watching and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.